Do you know what is the craziest, wildest shit ever? Learning how to communicate when you spend most of your life shutting down to protect yourself, to protect the peace. It feels like you're trying to speak a language you were never taught. Nobody tells you how hard it is to say what you need with love, with all you ever known in silence or blowing up. But I'm learning that, and it is changing everything in my life. And I wanted to share this with everybody today because, like I said, the Becoming Her journey is just like not me having everything fucking figured out. I'm learning shit and I'm learning shit. And I wanted to come in here and make this video real quick just to talk about it while it's on my mind. Your voice is not too much. It is just, or it has been buried under too many unspoken moments. I was never taught how to communicate properly. I only know how to keep the peace in general. I grew up being a little girl who didn't really say much. I was a very quiet child. I'm not gonna lie. I was very introverted and I did not like people like that. But besides that, I grew up not saying too much. Not because I didn't have anything to say, but because somewhere along the way I convinced myself it's safer to stay quiet. I didn't want to upset anyone. I didn't want to seem dramatic, and I didn't want to be too much. And y'all, this is the truth, because when I was going through my depression period, I didn't tell anybody I was depressed for a long time. And I was depressed for since I was 8 or 9, all the way until I was 20, maybe 21. And nobody knew. I didn't tell anybody I was depressed because I felt like if I spoke up and said I was depressed, people wouldn't understand. I would be seen as a burden. I would be seen as I'm doing too much. My parents got to worry about having a suicidal child. That's not nothing they need to worry about. And that was always the thoughts in my mind, and why I kept my depression to myself for a really long time, because I felt uncomfortable speaking about it, but I didn't know how to communicate that to other people. I didn't know how to say I'm depressed. I didn't know how to say I am dealing with suicidal ideation. I didn't know how to say I'm going through this, that, and the third, and I need help. I didn't know how to say it. And I feel like that carried on to my adult life, because now I'm in survival mode, as you may know. And I don't know when to say I need help, because I've always been the person to always just have it all together, figuring out when things happen in my life. It's just I just gotta figure this shit out with no help, because all I got is myself. And that has always been my mindset. It's I have a hard time depending on people. I have a hard time speaking and saying the things. Well, I used to have a hard time speaking and saying the things that bother me, or just speaking about my depression or talking about it, because I really felt like I would have been a burden on my parents talking about me being depressed. So I held it in. The confusion, the hurt, the boundaries, the things that I never voiced really played a part in who I am today. And eventually, silence just became my default. And the scary part is, the longer you go without speaking up, the more you start believing your needs does not matter. And that's what I am unlearning. That's what we all have to unlearn. I remember I was dating this one dude, and we got into an argument, and I couldn't communicate how I was feeling. I was so fucking mad, but I didn't know how to communicate how I felt. I didn't know how to put it in words. I knew the emotions. I knew what I was feeling, but I didn't know how to put it with words. I didn't know how to say it. And I think it comes from me, being silent, me being quiet, me not speaking up about things I was going through, personal struggles, me not telling anybody anything, me not speaking my truth on a lot of situations, because out of fear, I can be a burden. Me and my family and I growing up, we was going through a lot of stuff. We went through homelessness. We went through so many things. And I feel like I used to think to myself, we're homeless and I'm depressed. I'm about to commit, suicide. And why would I want to tell my parents just to add on to the plate of more? We're already homeless. We're already going through all this other shit. So I just kept it in. And then when it came to me adult dating, and I'm arguing with people, or we was in an argument and I didn't know how to say what I needed to say in a way that conveyed the feelings I was feeling. And it made me realize that I did not know how to use my voice. And I said this in my other video. I worked at this job where, it was a lot of race issues going on. But this job taught me the importance of using my voice, because I didn't really speak up when I needed to speak up, and I would just let things happen or let things pass by. And when I learned my voice, it was like I had no filter on it, and I was cursing people out. But then now I'm in a part of my life where I'm learning that it's okay to have a voice, but also it's okay to not say things sometimes, because some things are not said. Like when I'm dealing with a lot of older people, and how I say this, when I'm dealing with people who project their shit on me, sometimes I don't even feel the need to address it, because I'm just like, that's not even energy I want to take on. That's not even something I want to deal with. That has absolutely nothing to do with me and everything to do with you, and I'm learning how to walk away from those situations. Before, I used to be like, oh, I'm finna cuss this bitch out. I don't give a fuck what she talking about. But now I'm just like, that has nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with my story, my journey. You feel this type of way because you done created a narrative about me in your head, and you're trying to place that onto me and try to make your shit my shit. I'm learning how to walk away from that. Like, I had to learn my voice. Now I'm learning how to have balance with my voice. I didn't know how to say it, and I learned how to say it. And then I'm learning how to balance what I say. Because people say you need to say things in season. Yeah, you need to say things in season. But in essence, it took me years to realize I wasn't bad at communicating. I was just afraid. I was scared of how it would be received. Scared of being misunderstood, scared of starting something I couldn't control. Like when I was going through my depression, I was just scared to say I don't know how I would say it. I would say I was scared to say I'm depressed. It felt weird saying it. Like, me saying it for me back then means like I was admitting to it, and I don't know how to explain it. It's like I'm admitting, like I'm actually acknowledging this emotion within myself. And at the time, in that time of my life, when I was dealing with my depression and stuff, I had convinced myself of so many things that was not true. I convinced myself crying was a sign of weakness. So a lot of times I did not cry. I would tell myself like, oh, my plant is over here dying. That's off topic, but I'm just looking at my brown leaves on my plant. Oh my gosh, it's dying. But I would convince myself crying was a sign of weakness, and you have to always be strong. You always have to always show up. You always have to be tough and stand my ground, but just be tough and not let this bother you. And the more I try to convince myself that, the worse my depression got, of course. But I was afraid to say I was depressed, I'm not gonna lie, because I felt like if I was to say I was depressed, I'm owning that depression. Like, that depression is mine. Like, it's fine. Like, it's mine. And I don't think I wanted to say that too. In a lot of situations in my life, before I learned the importance of using my voice, I would feel so deeply about something and then talk myself out of expressing it because I didn't want to make it a big deal. And that's the thing. Not speaking doesn't make it go away. It just builds up quietly until one day you explode over something small and now you're the problem. Also, holding in things too can cause you to be sick. Sometimes it's best to release it, and you don't have to release it in like a bitch da 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 whoop whoop whoop, I'm finna beat your ass whoop whoop ba ba ba. No, you can say things with peace and grace and leave it at that. And sometimes it don't matter how you say it. You can say it in the most sweetest, most nicest way possible. If somebody is dedicated to misunderstanding that message, they're gonna just have to misunderstand it. But when I did finally start to speak up, I went to the extreme. I had all this built-up emotion, and when it came out, it was sharp, it was defensive, and it was very cold, very heartless, very like me, how I used to convince myself that crying was a sign of weakness. But that's not me. That was like my pain. That was years of not knowing how to be honest, with myself. It was years of not knowing how to be gentle with myself. And I had to ask myself, do I want to be hurt or do I want to be right? Because if I'm coming from a place of hurt, my words will hurt too. And that's not the woman I wanted to be around that time. Because when I was learning my voice and then like dating, it was, at first it was hard to speak up, not gonna lie. And then I got to a point where I would say things, and I know that words hurt and they last forever. And I would say something that will last forever with someone, and that's not the person I am. That's not the person I wanted to become, because I'm actually a person that's big on words. And when I get into arguments with people, sometimes I let the people I love have it. You know, like, you got it, because I'm not going to go back and forth with you. And I'm not going to even exchange that energy with you. Like, if you want to sit down and have a conversation, we can talk about it. But that whole going back and forth thing, we digging and digging and digging and digging and digging, will never get us back to a place of us being friends. Will never get us back to a place of, you know, this is my homegirl, this is my cousin, this is my friend, this is my sister, this is my brother. I don't dig at people in arguments. And I feel like if I feel like it's finna start being a dig back match, I remove myself. Because, like I said, that's not the woman I want to be. That's not the woman I want to be seen as. I want to have people to be able to tell me things and trust that I will never say it again, even in moments of anger. And that's the person I am. When you tell me something, in that moment, it would never be brought up again in any type of form to be a dig at you. And that's when I learned how words have power, and you can learn how to say things in a way that can hurt somebody forever. And it could just be in the moment thing, something that you don't really even mean. But because words leave a lasting impression, someone would take that in forever and maybe years and hold on to it. And they may hold on to that one little thing you said for the rest of their lives and never forgive you. So learning how to be balanced with my voice, learning how to say things in a way that it doesn't hurt the people I love. It doesn't make people feel small. It doesn't make people feel like I'm trying to tear them down. It was a big thing to me, because when you go from not knowing how to use your voice and not being honest with yourself to learning your voice and learning how to speak up, it's some hard shit you're gonna say, because it's like you speaking from years of pain, years of being quiet, years of not saying anything, years of silence, and you finally have this voice, and just like, this is 10 years worth of voicing you about to get. So I learned that you can be soft and still be clear. This has been the hardest, but most healing part of my life, the most healing part of my journey, learning how to express my boundaries without guilt, without over-explaining, and without shrinking or snapping. Learning how to speak up when I need to speak up and not letting things build up. And then when they do build up, I'm snapping and cursing on everybody. Now, when something doesn't sit right with me at this current moment or at this phase I am in life, I pause, I breathe, and I check in with myself, and then I speak. Not to defend, not to convince, but to just honor my truth. Once I check in with myself and ask myself, is this worth my time? Is this worth my energy? If I get into this, how would this affect me? Does this serve me any purpose? That's what I ask myself. If I get into this situation with this person, will it serve me any purpose? Is it something that I need to say? Is it something that I need to defend about myself or defend with someone else? And even with my voice now, like, I sometimes catch myself defending others because I know what it's like to not have a voice, and I see people sometimes not use their voice, and I'm like, bitch, you ain't got no voice? I do. I'm on your ass. But now I'm learning, like, okay, you know what? I got to let people handle their own boundaries too, because you know what? I'm finna be 26. I can't be out here like, no. I can't be out here defending other people's battles. Like, I gotta allow people to defend their own selves as well. But me speaking my truth is something that I'm learning, and I'm hoping that someone can take something from this video and learn it too, and maybe they can relate to it. Using your voice is a different kind of power. honoring your truth is a different kind of power because you no longer are trying to manage how people are receiving you. I am at peace with how I show up. I'm at peace with however people see me. When people are designated or set on misunderstanding me, I have no real desire to change that mind or to change that mindset, to change that narrative about me. I don't, because you don't even know me, you already made it up in your mind. So sometimes I'm just like, you know what? You got that situation because in your mind, you already see me as this person, and I have no real desire to convince you otherwise. I have no real desire to show you I'm something else. If you believe it, believe it. But one of the biggest shifts in my life has been that I no longer feel bad for needing clarity or space or reassurance. If someone loves you, really, really loves you, they won't shame you for asking for what you need. They'll lean in, they'll listen, and they'll make space for you. And that's one thing I'm learning because I have a hard time trusting people just based off of like a lot of the things that I went through by myself. It's hard to let people in when you always have had to be the person you could depend on, and you can't really depend on other people. But in life, God will bring you people, your right tribe, the right people for you that will make you feel okay with asking for help. Because like I said, for a long time, I didn't even, I'm all over my camera, but for a long time, I didn't really acknowledge my depression. For a long time, I didn't even want to give my depression a name or to own it. I felt like me saying it was also a burden, but me saying it meant I'm owning it. Like that was mine to keep. And if I know what I knew now, if back then, if I had the mindset that I have right now, let me say that, because I don't know if I'm saying it right. I would have been told everybody I was depressed because it's not about owning it. It's about being honest with yourself. It's about being real with yourself because in realness comes healing, comes truth, comes clarity, comes understanding. Me owning like I'm depressed could have opened doors for healing in so many ways. But because I had that mindset, like crying is weakness. If I speak up about my depression, I'm owning it. It's like mine to keep. I'm going to live with it. I'm going to sleep with it. There's nothing I can do about it. But if I know what I knew, if I knew what I knew right now, I would have been said something about it. And I could have probably have had help with it. But, like I said in any of my other videos, I'm still learning. But I'm not afraid anymore. I don't have my whole life figured out. I still get nervous when I talk because I feel like, I still get nervous when I talk sometimes. I get nervous sometimes when I set boundaries. Sometimes I will overthink. Even after a hard conversation, I still reply with I could have said or what I should have said. But the difference is I'm not afraid of my voice anymore. I'm not afraid to own the hard stuff. I don't avoid the hard stuff. I'm not afraid to say, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm going through. I'm depressed. I'm unhappy. I'm anxious. I'm having anxiety. I'm not afraid to own that because when I own it, it's not about it becoming mine. It's just about me healing. It's like it opens doors for me to reflect and heal and grow from it. Me asking God, the universe, how can I overcome this? Shit like that. So if you're like me or were like me or trying to become more or trying to do better, someone who's trying to unlearn the silence, someone who's still trying to figure it out, someone who is trying to learn how to communicate with love and not fear, you're not too much. You're not behind. You're not dramatic. You're just learning how to honor yourself out loud in a way that conveys who you really are without the pain of all those years of not speaking up. And that's one of the most powerful things you can ever do. Letting your words be roots to your healing, but delivered in grace. If I hit home for you, please drop a heart down below. Please check out my shadow work prompt in my description. This is just based on, you using your voice. It may have some affirmations in it just for you to practice for the next 21 days. Practice those affirmations. Ask yourself those questions every day for the next 21 days and see how your life will change. See how things will turn for you. If you did like my video, tell me what part you felt in your spirit, or just say I'm learning, because truth is we are all learning, and every time you choose to speak from love instead of pain, you are rewriting your story. You are closing chapters and creating new chapters. Communication isn't about being perfect, it's about being honest. Yeah. And I'm sleepy.